our students at home. Welcome to another segment of our English language. My name still remains Mr. Idowu Olajide Taufik. This time around, I'm going to teach you the topic called phrases. We are going to explain what a phrase is, and I'm going to tell you all the various aspects of phrases. Also, I would like to divide this into three sections, namely definition of a phrase, types of phrases, and functions of phrases. Now, how do we define a phrase? A phrase can be defined as a group of words without a finite verb. Take note, without a finite verb. Structurally, a finite verb must not be present in an expression for it to be a phrase. A phrase, don't forget, can be introduced by other types of verbs, but they must not be finite verbs. A phrase can be introduced with a gerund or a non-infinitive verb. A gerund is an ing verb used at the beginning of a sentence. E.g., walking along the road, I saw a dead snake. Walking along the road is a phrase because the first word there is a gerund, walking, non-infinitive verb. This is a verb preceded by to, e.g., I want to eat. To eat is a non-infinitive verb. Therefore, I want to eat, if you underline to eat rice, that means to eat rice is a phrase. Let us see these various examples. A reader's frame of mind is not an easy thing to determine. A reader's frame of mind is a phrase. The girl with a red scarf is my sister. With a red scarf is a phrase. He decided to walk home after school hours. To walk home after school hours is a phrase. Walking along the road, I saw a dead snake and he got to school by 9 o'clock. By 9 o'clock is also a phrase. All these phrases do not have finite verbs. The first one, there's no verb at all. The second one, no verb. The third one, no verb. The next one has a gerund. Now let's go for types of phrases. There are various types of phrases, but for examination purposes, I will teach you only three types of phrases, which are noun phrase, adjectival phrase, and adverbial phrase. A noun phrase is an expression which has its subject as either a noun or a pronoun. For example, a reader's frame of mind is not easy to determine. A reader's frame of mind is a phrase. A candidate in examination hall is a close cousin of the boxer in the ring. The courage to fail is very cheap. The beautiful thing about these insects is that they easily recognize. All these examples are phrases because they don't have finite verbs. Adjectival phrase. It's a phrase which gives additional information about a noun or a pronoun. It explains a noun or a pronoun. That means it qualifies noun or pronoun. For example, the girl with a red scarf is my sister. The man inside the garden is a billionaire. Inside the garden is a phrase. That's adjectival phrase which qualifies the noun man. Now, adverbial phrase. The definition. It modifies verbs, adjectives, and adverbs types. In this aspect too, there are so many types of adverbial phrases, but I will teach you 5 of them, namely adverbial phrase of time, adverbial phrase of place, adverbial phrase of condition, adverbial phrase of reason, adverbial phrase of manner. Now, when I come back in the next section, I'm going to take you through the types of adverbial phrases so that it's very easy for you to understand them. Adverbial phrases are so easy to identify, so don't panic and don't shy away from this particular topic. Thank you. Students, you are welcome to the next aspect of phrases. I've been able to teach you the definition of a phrase, the types of phrases. Now, I want to take you through the grammatical names and functions of phrases. Don't forget how I defined a phrase, and don't forget the types of phrases I mentioned. I told you that we have three basic types of phrases, namely noun phrase, adjectival or relative phrase, and adverbial phrase. Don't forget, there are so many types of phrases, but those three are the most common one. And in most cases, examination bodies test students on these three basic types of phrases. In the next lesson, I'm going to teach you the grammatical names and functions of phrases. Let me say it again, the grammatical names and functions of phrases. Let us start with a noun phrase. A noun phrase has many functions, but according to examination bodies, questions are often asked on two basic ones. So, in this lesson, I'm going to teach you the two common types of noun phrases. That's the grammatical names and the grammatical functions. Now, in a noun phrase, it has two basic functions and it has two basic styles. Now, a noun phrase has one, subject of the verb. Let me say it again, subject of the verb. This indicates that the phrase assumes a subject position. Let us consider this example. Now, the example says, a candidate in an examination hall. A candidate in an examination hall is a close cousin to the boxer in the ring. This is Waec, June 1998. Now, let us work on this one. The sentence is, a candidate in an examination hall is a close cousin of the boxer in the ring. A candidate in an examination hall is the underlined expression. Now, what's the grammatical name? The grammatical name is a noun phrase. It's a noun phrase because there is no finite verb in that particular expression. What's the function? Subject of the verb. Like I said earlier, subject of the verb means that particular phrase begins the whole sentence. It means it assumes subject position. So therefore, a kind of examination hall, grammatical name, noun phrase, functions, function, subject of the verb is. Let's go for object of the verb. It indicates that the phrase functions as an object in the sentence. For example, he reasoned that leaving his retinue of wives, children, servants, and relatives behind was not the best solution. We underline leaving his retinue of wives, children, and servants, and relatives behind. What's grammatical name? Noun phrase, function, object of the verb reason. Now, adjectival phrase. This one qualifies a noun or a pronoun. For example, the girl with a red scarf. Grammatical name, relative phrase, function, it qualifies the noun girl. These are the two types we are going to discuss now. And when I come back, I'm going to discuss adverbial phrase. Don't forget, we just discussed noun phrase and the adjectival phrase. We considered the grammatical names and the functions. In a noun phrase, it has two basic functions, object of the verb and subject of the verb. Adverbial phrase has one function, it qualifies a noun or a pronoun. Thank you. You are welcome to the last part of our topic, which is phrases. we have been able to consider definition of phrases, types of phrases, and also grammatical names and functions of phrases. And the last one I treated was adjectival or relative phrase. This time around, I want to go for adverbial phrase. Adverbial phrase has one basic function, which is it modifies a verb. Sometimes it can modify an adjective, and sometimes it can modify another adverb. There are so many types of adverbial phrases, and I'm going to put all of them together in what I have here. But don't forget, we have adverbial phrase of time, adverbial phrase of place, adverbial phrase of manner, adverbial phrase of reason, adverbial phrase of condition, and so many other types of adverbial phrases. I've discussed this one under adverbial clauses. Now, don't forget that an adverbial phrase, like I said earlier, has one basic function, which is it modifies a verb or an adjective or another adverb. Now, for us to understand the various adverbial phrases, I'm going to look at these following examples, and we are going to look at their grammatical names and functions together. I said what? We're going to look at their grammatical names and functions together. Now, not in any particular order, I will just mention these examples. Before I go on, don't forget that if you cannot identify the type of adverbial phrase, please, you are free to write only adverbial phrase. I will even advise you not to include the types. This will afford you not to have marks deducted from your answers. Now, let us consider the following examples. The teacher is inside the classroom. The teacher is inside the classroom. Inside the classroom is an adverbial phrase. And I know because I've been able to define adverbial phrase. If you look at the example, there is no verb there. There is no finite verb. The underlined expression there is inside the classroom. Now, let's not look at the grammatical name. In the underlined expression, the grammatical name is adverbial phrase. Yes, we can decide to mention the type, but I will advise you leave the type alone. Therefore, the grammatical name is adverbial phrase. Function is by the verb is. Let's another one. He saw his friend at the airport. At the airport is underlined. Grammatical name is adverbial phrase. Actually, adverbial phrase of place, but don't include place except you are sure. So the grammatical name is adverbial phrase. Function, it modifies the verb saw. There are so many examples that you can get from your textbooks, and I advise you to acquire more examples as much as possible. Let me now round off with this particular summary. Please students, take note of what I want to tell you. A noun clause or phrase has various functions, but we discuss only two, namely subject of the verb and object of the verb. Please students, a noun clause has functions as subject of the verb and object of the verb. 2. Adjectival clause or phrase. This particular one has one basic function, which is it qualifies a noun or a pronoun, while adverbial clause or phrase modifies a verb. Please students, don't interchange these functions so that you will not have 0 in the two aspects. The two aspects will give you 3 marks. Thank you.